day one of this dieting phase, which whatever name it is, I'll just keep for a little while. It probably just makes sense to have them all named the same. Seems kind of funny to call like one episode like Praise to Leanness episode 1, just make up some silliness. But no, regardless of name and goofiness, the core principles of these next 2 to I don't know, way longer than 2, probably 3 months, potentially creeping into 4 months if bodybuilding show ends up being at the end of it, but that's not confirmed. I need to give me some time on that factor to see if something really lines up. But either way, still, body fat loss is the name of the game. So for me, I think there's a generalized continuum among lifters, right? From net zero to this side to this side, right? Now, on one far side of this equilibrium are the guys where they basically have no fucking appetite. These are the dudes where if you roll up to your YMCA, these guys are playing basketball at fucking 3%. Now, they're not the biggest guys, but they're just diced, and the reason for it is not because they're counting all their macros. They've just got an easy time not chowing down on a ton of food, right? They've got a baseline low appetite for whatever reason. It could just be fucking, there's a couple things that are going to come into play, but for the most part, a big fluctuation of that equilibrium is just your fucking genetics. Probably some of your upbringing and things like that. But I mean, some guys just have a low appetite. On the other side of things are the guys who have a fucking insane appetite. For them to even think about a calorie deficit is it's going to give them a fucking nightmare, right? Like these are the guys where they go into a football practice tryout, and they're going for linemen, not running back, right? Like putting down food is no problem for them. And for me, I've always been kind of close to the middle, but over the last few bulking phases, I think I've leaned a bit more towards that dieting side, which is probably just because I get sick of eating so much food. I mean, it really is a chore for sure. Now, for the benefits of a proper bulk, it's worth it, but I'd be lying to you if I said it was just totally easy and completely enjoyable, right? But that's where the value comes in. If it's not a challenge, then there's no reward at the end of it. So for me, I'm going to have a much easier time dieting down, because the mental difficulty of staying in a deficit and keeping my hands occupied from not reaching into the fucking cookie jar every day is a bit easier, just from having done it so many times, than the actual physical difficulty of continuing to put more and more food down, which I just reached to a point where I can't continue. Like that's why this last bulk just ended. It wasn't magic like, okay, I'm 272, that's my new end goal weight. No, it's more like I hit 272 and then was just bouncing around 270, even like down to 268 a few days. And historically, I have not been able to recover from that kind of peak and then slight kind of drop off, which is fine. That's still a 12-pound PR, right? So that bulk was completely successful. But I gotta know when to pull out, take profits, and then I guess in stock talk, what am I doing now? I'm basically doing a short, right? I'm hoping my body weight falls, which I know it will. But yeah, so for me to get leaner is much easier. And man, how many times have I done it so far? Cumulatively, I've definitely been in a dieting calorie deficit phase for at least a year's worth of time over these last 6 years, because I think so I know the last 2 years because I had them tracked. So it was this last bulk, a diet, and then spring bulk, the first one, so that's 3. I did another bulk before that one got posted, so that was 4. Did I have another one even before then? I think I did. So 5 dedicated bulking phases with 4 dieting phases in between. This will be the 5th. But even before I started really trying to push the envelope with the weight, I dieted before when I was a wee lad, fucking in high school. That was one summer I did really well. I was I've got some old pictures. I need to get them from like my old iPhones or whatever else. I've got like a hard drive with a ton of my old stuff. But dude, lean ass 180. That is fucking sick. You know, don't get insanely discouraged when you look at a fucking 260 pounder or like an actual professional bodybuilder guy. I mean, you've got the same fucking build. You got triceps, you got a chest, you got a back, you got legs, right? You got calves, you got arms, you got shoulders. So being a lean 180, I mean, when I look back at that, dude, that looked fucking sick. I must not have an off switch in my mind to say it's like, oh, this is enough yet. And that's just because I'm fucking crazy. But dude, if you get to a point where you're a lean 180, dude, that is a nice place to be. Plus, you don't lose out on any athleticism. Honestly, you can probably get up to about a lean 200 and still be pretty fucking spry. Once you get up to the higher 200s lean, that cuts into that a little bit. But that's one thing I'm going to notice. I'm going to be a bit lighter on my feet now that I'm not going to have a completely full stomach of food plus tons of water to go along with it. Taking fucking naps whenever possible. So all that's to say, I am very excited about this dieting phase. And then I'm sure part of the reason, you're never making a real completely unbiased decision. Maybe I'm itching to just get cut up again. I'm really so this one I want to take further. Right, the last few dieting phases I've gotten pretty lean, but no, this one I want to see some fucking glute striations. Never seen that before. Right, some more cuts and veins where I've never fucking seen them, and then an insane vacuum to go along with it. But that's a given, just because even in the next few days, now that I haven't been eating in a bulking diet, my stomach is basically going to kind of tighten itself in, right? Make my kind of V taper look extra crazy. I mean, it's just sweet, man. There's a lot of positives, right? You're spending less time eating. You don't have to pack food all the time. So you really do have more free time, because the difficulty from dieting is not it's not a chore per se. It's more like the absence of effort. So if you can handle the fucking, trickiness of, okay, ooh, do I stop at Chick-fil-A? Do I make today a cheat day? What do I do? Okay, if you can handle getting over that part of things, dieting is nice. Dieting is fucking nice. So, what was I about to say? Oh yeah, so morning weight, I guess I'll see what it is tomorrow. But I've already kind of dropped down a bit from the peak bulk weight, which is to be expected. I mean, my even though I gained 30 pounds over the course of the last, what would that be, 11 weeks, that's not 30 pounds of muscle, or 32 pounds, right? That's, totally just 10 pounds of carbs and water, right? Basically intramuscular glycogen, right? I mean, that's what like a marathon runner is going to do. That's why they carb load the night before they do something like that, to really kind of fill up, like on a muscular fucking basis. Each cell is going to be a little bit more swollen, full of that kind of fuel. But I'll see what the morning weight is tomorrow, because I should be getting close to baseline, because 2 days ago I still was, I just had like 3,000 calories. So I guess that's another thing I haven't pointed out yet. What's the limit gonna be? We'll see. Got to ease into it. For me to just be eating 3,500 calories right now, I'm gonna be slightly losing weight slowly. So that's about where I'll start. Right? I'm not gonna ease into it so slowly that I start at like 4,000 and then 40 and then 35. Like, I got to get it going, because you're not going to be burning any body fat unless you're actually carb depleted. So jumping straight into a reasonable deficit, I think you're good. But I'll be at about 3,500 for the first week, and adjust accordingly from there. So plan for tonight's lift: arms, same as normal. Push downs, overhead V-bar extensions, curls of every which way, which I think is going to add up to a solid fucking bicep pump. And then I'll do a touch of forearms at the end, I think. Just, not a ton, but just a little. Maybe just some cable work. I don't think I need much more reverse curling work. I always like adding some of that in. But all these kind of forearm extenders. I think it's extensors. The back, right? All this stuff that kind of pops out when I open my hand. That's kind of big enough to be freaky. I want to kind of keep this nice and thick. So that's another thing which, when you get leaner, you'll start to notice is just like little things that you might not have thought about before start to look extra fucking cool. I mean, no forearm pump, no nothing. When I'm leaner and I'm doing like a chest press, plus I've got every set pretty much fucking documented when I make these, kind of workouts. I get to look back at myself and I'm like, holy crap, dude, my fucking forearm veins are out of this world. Yeah, it's just fucking sweet. So, more of a, if bulking is climbing up a mountain, then for me, I feel that the dieting phase is, taking a break and then looking down from whoa. Holy crap. That guy just turned down the exit ramp of a highway. My God. But it's getting back to what I was about to say. So, I would kind of, when I imagine it, I feel like bulking is climbing the mountain. Right? You're trudging up and down, slow steps, making real progress. If you're actually doing it right, every time you embark, you should reach a new height. But in between, you got to do a dieting phase just to reset your system. So that's where pop a squat, turn around, see kind of how far you've come. So relative to the last dieting phase, definitely only marginally larger. I mean, to the point where it might not be like immediately jumping out at you like, whoa, seems quads are double the size. But marginal gains on repeat, that is what I'm aiming for. Plus, I'm sure I'm going to see a little bit of, I'm definitely going to see some more quad striation from, even just from looking at him now, I can still see just a hint of feathering on the left side, especially with the body fat that I'm at. So as I get leaner, oh my God. I hope freak show is not a bad descriptor. That's what I'm trying to get at there. But I think no more chatting. I can already feel a little bit of cheek tingling from a certain beta alanine we all know and love. So let's just cut to that first set of push downs. Been on a squeezing lightweight kick to start triceps. It's got to last like 3 fucking months. I do like it though. Serves as a good warm-up. Plus, it's a different kind of failure when you're fresh. I don't know if you know this, but if you get big enough, I think it's a size thing, but when my triceps are fully pumped, I wouldn't like to do a movement like this because I don't get a full, complete, straight arm fucking contraction. Like when my triceps are fully pumped, I can get to like here with a rope, with at least, moderate weight, and I just can't get that extra oomph. It's like my triceps running into itself. It's so full of blood. So when they're cold, I can really squeeze hard. But 2 here. And no weight, not crazy, 25 pounds each. So that's only like half the stack on a double arm push down. Boy. Oh. Okay. Okay. One more. Okay. All right. I lied. One more. Dude, the fucking density of intensity on that set relative to the weight, that's nuts. That is fucking nuts. One more, then move on. Oh my god. Okay. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. So, even though that was a good stretch, this whole little system is very squeeze focused, right? Like a squat or leg press, you don't have much quad activation when your legs are fully contracted. That's more stretch. This is more squeeze. So let's change gears, do some bent over overhead stuff. Especially if I can find a cable that has the right camber to my liking. These next three should be pretty fucking nasty. I have a minor conundrum. When I do these, at least if I were to just bend over and do these overhead reps, with this weight, it's actually a little too light. Like I'd probably pump out 30, but I wouldn't want to like slap a plate on the side because then it's gonna be too heavy and I won't be using my triceps. I'll just be like manhandling the set. So good in between, 5-6 burnout reps of just regular push downs, then flip over and burn out with the extensions. So let me just get a properly hyped song to match and go crazy. Boy. Damn. Oh yeah. No. Okay. All right. Let's move on to dips. This will be a heavy one. Still squeeze focus at the bottom. Few more. Holy crap. Yeah. Okay. Oh, let's drop the weight. Honestly, if this next set is good, I think that'll be it for triceps. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. Ah. No. Okay. Oh. All right. Time for curls. Tries are completely cooked. Usually, I'm one to say, I've literally said this before, I don't usually start a chest day off, or what am I saying, an arm day off with preacher curls. But by saying that, I'm limiting my own approach to biceps. So let's do it today. Nothing crazy heavy, of course, just a 50. And this isn't what I would call a freaky angle. When you're doing a preacher on like a 45, where it's really just steep, I'm a little more concerned. But this is more like a 70, maybe. So at the bottom, I have no concern of bicep rippage, right? So I can pretty much go to at least as close to failure as I can without worry. So let's start here. And these are going to be squeezing focus. Good tempo. Once I pick a better song. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. 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 Okay. One more, same weight. Holy crap. Okay. One more. I'll burn out with some hammer curls if I can't hit 8. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Let's just do a simple double arm set on this machine. Not the heaviest, but I do like the strength curve because it's consistent. With a, if you think about it, with a regular dumbbell curl, like if I were to have this exact same seat without all this fancy shit, and I just held 2 dumbbells, the tension in my biceps is actually going to change. It's going to feel the lightest down here and actually get heavier and heavier and heavier because the dumbbells are only exerting force downward, right? So, you know, if you ever watch somebody do lateral raises, there's a reason that they can just pump out little partials down here and not keep getting full range of motion. It's because it gets heavier as you do the rep, right? Because this weight is now being pushed further away from the moment arm, your elbow, and it's exerting more torque, if you like a little bit more of a physics-based explanation. But with a machine like this, the force is actually just always backwards against my hand, right? So instead of like a dumbbell fly, where it's heavy down here, and then it gets lighter at the top, this is more like a pec deck, right? I feel constant tension the whole time. I wouldn't mind if the stack was maybe 1.5 times as heavy, but this will be all right. If I can find a good song. Come on. Oh. Seat almost wasn't the right height. Okay. Whew. Let's do some cable stuff. And I think arms are just about done. These just be some alternating dumbbell curls or cable. 10, 10, 8, 8, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. To failure. Let's finish with a easy bar curl. Okay. Whew. All right. Let's go find some lighting. Arms down. There we go. I think I lied. We'll chill on forearms until they next return. But let's see how arms look. A little bit of a hiatus during those sets of machine curls. I was caught myself doing a little too much yappage, but I don't think the arm pumps suffered much, if at all. So let's see what the first semi-depleted bicep tricep combination has to offer. Let's see. There we go. Nice and center too. All right, nothing much to complain about there. Shit. Dude, I already feel more like a beefcake from having a trimmer waist. Because even if my arms didn't change size, or they even shrunk some, being able to squeeze in closer here makes this whole wider side of things from my torso look even more nutty. Plus, an arm pump always helps a lat spread. I'd say even more than a back pump does. Boy. Now, there's no coming close to the infamous outdoor Lee Priest lat spread, if you know the clip I'm talking about. But let a man dream, right? Let a lifter dream here, okay? So. No. Oh my goodness. Let's see what else is there. This will get even freakier too over time. But this is all we're working with crucifix-wise for now. So, arms pumped to shit. They fucking feel just as pumped as they were when I was like literally 8 pounds heavier just a week ago or so. So, hopefully I don't feel too much more depleted over the coming weeks. And then, I mean, dude, if this is, I mean, for this to be the baseline of this dieting phase, it may as well be fucking Christmas morning
And I know that my mom got me a 3DS with Mario Kart 7 Deluxe. Or no, I guess just Mario Kart 7. But either way, arms. Okay, let's do one more muscle basket. I can't stop myself. Oh, yeah. Oh. I just feel like a total meatball. But all right. Dieting phase day 1 in the books with a green check mark.
Arms pumped, followed by a requisite 15 minutes of sitting in my car playing on my phone. A rather zen reflective period for a post-lift, or for the end of a reasonably solid session for a lifter. But yeah, plan now, go home. I put some steaks in a sous vide. Now I'm gonna put them in the fridge, but I'll give them a sear, and then that'll be sweet. That will be fucking sweet. So, Sam, what is gonna change? You're dieting down now. You're no longer trying to build muscle. You're trying to maintain it and lose fat. So, of course, instead of doing hard, heavy sets, you're gonna do toning sets. You're gonna do fat burning toning work. Obviously, right? You're not just gonna keep training the same way you usually do. I mean, that's nonsense, right? Guys, come on. This is how I think of it. And there are different fluctuations. My training is going to change a little bit now that I'm dieting down compared to bulking. But the core principles are consistent if you're trying to build muscle or just maintain muscle and lose fat. Right? Those are really the only kind of two states that you're going to be in as a lifter, apart from just maintenance. So the thing that is going to change whether or not you grow or you lose fat and get leaner, what is it? Right? It's your calorie intake, right? It's fluctuating the amount of energy, I mean, really energy and nutrients and basically just building blocks that you're taking in, or limiting it so that you have to run off your own internal reserves, which your body's going to go for fat first, not muscle. So the training is purely to stimulate your muscle, and then whatever you do outside of the gym determines the result of that stimulation, right? So it's I'm trying to think of another kind of situation where that is basically well, it's kind of hard to come up with something that really matches muscle growth. But following that logic, my approach with dieting down, I want to maintain strength, I want to maintain size, I want to keep getting solid lifts, then nothing's going to change. You know, I'll still do as many sets as I need until I feel like I've done enough, which for me ends up being about 7-8 sets, kind of aiming for a certain feeling of fatigue as well as pumpedness, which isn't just a magic number for me. I think if anybody were to come to the gym and do 8 crazy 8 crazy sets of chest one day, as long as those sets were legit, be it a heavy, set of 8 on incline Smith or like a 20 rep burning set of cable flies, as long as those 8 sets were all pretty hard and you're basically fully pumped at the end of it, I don't feel the need for much more, So that's kind of my area of volume targeting that I'm looking at. But other than that, I mean, the lifts are going to stay the same. I'll still lift as heavy as I can with reason, combined with some lighter sets for more squeezing kind of burnout kind of work. And get pumped. Do still do some drop sets and some supersets here and again, but the training shouldn't change much. And there is I think that's kind of just a disconnect of understanding from like how important the dieting side of things really is to fluctuating how your body ends up looking. I could do somebody could do zero training and purely, get on like a more strict diet. Maybe it's always going to help to add physical training, but you could do nothing else. Just actually restrict your calories, and then, however long it takes to get down to like a lean body weight, people are going to say, holy crap, what was your fucking secret? What have you been doing to manage this insane transformation? It's like, I just ate in a calorie deficit for 2 years straight. lost fucking 80 pounds. Now, it's more complicated than that, of course, because that is tricky to do, but it is just as simple as that, right? So, over the course of this dieting phase, I'm going to make sure... I'm sorry. I'm going to make sure that the intensity on the lifts does not drop off. It still maintains its level of intensity. And then, not overdo it with the calorie intake. Maintain a steady fat burning kind of state. And then fast forward 3 months, I'm going to be doing a pose down after a chest day saying, holy crap, I've never seen so many fucking fibers on my chest before. Hit another most muscular. So that's what I'm getting excited for. But the reason why I'm so confident in being able to say I know I'm going to be able to lose this body fat is because I know the rule book. Eat 300 to... Well, it's going to taper off because I'm going to get down to probably maybe 2,500 calories on the low end. But I'm going to start off around 3,500 or so. That'll kind of fluctuate. But for the most part, I know, okay, let's say 250 grams of protein. I'm going to hit that by the end of the day. 75 grams of fat. 300 grams of carbs. Spread that evenly with whole foods and not calorie dense options. I mean, you're not going to see me have any Ben & Jerry's. It's just not it's not conducive with being in a diet because it's not going to fill me up. Right now, I'm focused on eating foods where it's going to make me feel full and I'm not going to want to keep eating more of it. So, I'll probably get some pre-chopped, Meyer salads. I like doing this. Sometimes I'll add like a low-fat kind of hot sauce instead of a regular dressing. Or you can just add any kind of low-cal dressing. And I'll just have a straight big-ass bowl of lettuce with a half pound of steak or a half pound of ground beef. And then I get my 50 grams of protein and however many grams of fat that I was aiming for, plus the, the fats in the dressing. And then I pretty much got like a full stomach for a little while with, the cost of maybe 20 grams of carbs from like a big salad bowl. That's what I'm aiming for. So when I'm dieting, I want to eat foods that are very fluffy in the sense that they take up a lot of space, but don't have a lot of calories. Whereas when I'm bulking, I want to eat denser foods, right? I'm talking straight rice, straight oatmeal, straight cream of wheat, ground beef, not as, add some shakes in there now and again. Foods where I can eat a lot of it and they have a lot of calorie value. So, gotta flip the script on this one. But I've got to restock the kitchen with more low-fat ground beef, leaner cuts of steak. I'm talking some top round, some low-calorie buns. There's breads that are made specifically to have more fiber content than just actual carbohydrate content. Those are a little tricky though because they can make you a little bit bloated and gassy if you eat too many of them. But within reason, like if you have maybe like 2 a day, dude, I can have a straight up just basically a sloppy Joe with some lean ground beef, fat-free cheese, sugar-free barbecue sauce, slapped right in between 2 or 3 low-carb keto buns, and then I get a full stomach at the cost of just 500 calories. 500 calories is one spicy chicken sandwich, and that has at least at my size now, that's not enough to make me say, oh, I've had enough food. Okay, so that's kind of the food density that I'm talking about. But I'll get into that in a bit more detail. I'll actually add some more kind of cooking tutorials with those kind of things, because I've got I think at least 5 or 6 go-to kind of dieting specific meals, like that. Even that one I just said, I'll get a little Gordon Ramsay action there. But there's a couple other tricks too, which always help me, because of course, I mean, like I say, it is just eat this many calories per day. Don't eat more than that. You're gonna get lean, which is true, but that completely negates skips over the fact that, okay, you have to eat foods where you're not going to be starving all day. So there is a subjective element to it where you have to taper it to your specific needs, right? I mean, if guys can eat like a fucking robot and feel just a baseline sense of hunger all day because all they eat is like, meals of 30 grams of carbs worth of rice and then 50 grams of protein worth of chicken and some broccoli. I mean, if he can do that for 3 months, that guy is going to be diced for real. But I think it's, that's just more difficulty than necessary, right? I mean, if you don't have to eat like a fucking, like a prisoner, and you can really taper it and make sure you're eating things that you like to do, then why wouldn't you? Get lean, stay in a deficit, and eat foods that you like to eat. Now, of course, you are always going to be dieting. You're always going to be in a deficit, so you can't get around hungry. There's no, well, actually, I guess that's not true. Fucking Ozempic's making its rounds. I'm not somebody to ask about Ozempic. This isn't an Ozempic dieting phase. But there's no getting around being a little bit hungry. I mean, unless you go that route, I guess. But there are a lot of ways to make it easier on yourself. So I'll get into that in a lot more detail over these next coming months. So I'll see you tomorrow for legs, which is one of the lifts that is going to change a little bit now that I'm dieting down, which I'll get into more tomorrow.